But I'm just wondering what thoughts you have, Julia, as a long-standing coach about the future, really. What do you see in the future?
Well, I think to the point earlier about quick fixes,
Mm.
there seems to be the pace of work just seems to be phenomenal at the moment. So there is a sense that clients are coming for quick fixes.
Mm.
And the contrast to that is that coaching provides a space where they can just slow down. So I've noticed that a lot,
Mm.
um, and just reflect on what's going on. So I think so. I was at a conference last week. I was at the Coaching Psychology Conference of the British Psychological Society, and there were there was a couple of people who spoke actually about this journey that coaching has been on, and sort of encapsulated it as when we started out, coaching was about the individual. You know, it was about helping the individual to achieve their goals, to identify their goals and achieve their goals. And then, from reviews of the literature, this where this information has come from. It's moved more into the relatedness of that individual. So how does that individual, all this, the stuff that we've learned about belonging and, being a part of a group and how important that is. So it's sort of gone from being the individual to the individual in their immediate environment. And now it's moving into sort of more social awareness and social impact. So the individual in their immediate environment and their broader environment, what it is that they want to achieve, what's their purpose. And that just seems to be much broader and bigger these days,
Yeah.
which is it poses questions for us, doesn't it, as to how we need to change as coaches.
Mm. So I'm hearing a kind of almost what's the right word? Almost a contradiction here between the fact of the pace and the the frantic nature of some people's working lives, and this need for space, for mental space, and to consider these big questions.
Yeah,
It's almost a paradox in a way.
uh, yeah, and we have to hold that, don't we, for the client? And I think one thing that I've noticed is that I So I wrote an essay because I'm a nerd, and I've qualified as a coaching supervisor. And one of the things I had to do was write some essays for that. And I wrote an essay, and it was around the neutrality of the coach,
Yeah.
and read a couple of really interesting papers that said, not only can we never be neutral because we have our unconscious biases, but now that we're starting to talk more about how individuals sit within society, we actually have to be a bit clearer about when we can't be neutral, and to be clear about that.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
so yeah, there are some questions for me around, this is a completely non-judgmental space, is what I say.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, it's kind of not actually, because if you said something sexist to me, I would have to say something about that. So yeah, it's I don't know that I'm answering any questions here. I'm raising questions potentially.
These are challenges in a sense which coaching faces, perhaps more than it did. I mean, some of the boundary questions, if I can call them those, have been around for ages, but some of them are new. And I'm also thinking that our awareness of different types of diversity, for example, has grown quite a lot in the last 20 years. Or I speak for myself, maybe, but and that's something that I think a lot of coaches are, working with, if you like, at the moment, trying to understand how do I adapt? Do I need to do something different, or is it just standard coaching, or
Yeah.
some, yeah.
Yes, and we should always have been doing that.